Hello. For a good while now, and especially in the last couple of days, I've had several requests from people to explain a little bit more about the UCC-1. And I'm not going to be able to give a detailed explanation, obviously, in a short video such as I'm doing today. But I will give you an overview. Society in our world operates, and has been operating for a long time, on principles that are covered in what is known as the Uniform Commercial Code, which is what UCC stands for. Basically, our culture is set up on identity theft. As human beings, we are born sovereigns with freedom and the right to live our lives according to the dictates of our own heart and our own conscience. This is unalienable and unalienable. It is the law of nature. Nature dictates freedom. But I suppose freedom is meaningless if you don't know that you have it. And so a system has been put in place by divine decree, I'm going to allow that, in which we discovered that we weren't free. That is, our identity as sovereign beings was stolen from us without us even knowing that it was stolen. And the entire monetary system of the world operates on the principle of stolen identity. And it's easy to steal identity when you don't know you have an identity. So maybe I'm talking in circles a little bit, but that is how I see it. That humans didn't know who they were, so we've developed collectively a system in which we would begin to understand who we weren't. We're not slaves. We weren't born to be slaves to anyone, and it doesn't matter. All of the differences that we have in our human culture don't matter a bit. Every human being in the human race is born to be free. But when you don't know that, you don't know what freedom is. When you don't know that you were born to be loving and peaceful, you don't know what love and peace are. So we learn by the process of opposites, contrast. That's the way spiritual evolution works. And I say that because what I'm going to say next needs to be put into perspective. The state has acted as a beast. And by the state, I mean the banks, I mean the courts, I mean governments, I mean corporations. For these are the backbone of the entire system of enslavement that has been instituted in our world, unbeknownst to most people until our current generation, when we're waking up. You've heard me say, those of you that have listened for a time, that the straw man is a legal fiction. Well, in a sense, the ego is also a legal fiction. The identity as a limited being, born in time and space, with amnesia, not knowing who you are or why you're here. That's the ego. So it was easy for the state, the control factor, to institute legal fictions. They just institutionalized you and I into non-human beings over which they could have control. UCC, as I said, stands for Uniform Commercial Code. It's actually the Uniform Control Code of the world, and commerce is the means of that control. The monetary system is a means of debt enslavement. Everything in our system works on debt. And the debt is created by the people who borrow, whether it's individuals, whether it's corporations, or whether it's governments, whatever. When you borrow, you create debt and you become a slave to that debt. In fact, I encourage you to watch the Money as Debt video. Google it, Money as Debt. It is a Google video. It runs over an hour. It's a very interesting video. But the UCC-1 is a remedy to extricate yourself from the mess and reclaim your personal sovereignty. It's a means of establishing personal sovereignty in admiralty courts, which is the type of courts that we have. They are commercial courts. They are not lawful common law type courts. They are commercial courts. And the UCC-1 is a commercial contract. It breaks, when you understand it, it breaks the unbridled power of the corporate state. And because it does that, it is not well liked by establishmentarians that want to maintain the status quo. Because truthfully, many, many people in our culture have survived economically by being able to steal from other people, from taking what other people have, the creativity, the natural desire to work and to create, to take that and to derive benefit from it without giving anything back. And the entire society, the government systems of our world, are set up to take, never really to give back. They have the illusion of giving back, but what they give back is what was already yours to begin with. You just didn't know that it was yours. They make you get licenses. And I'm saying they because they are not, I'm not saying they in the terms of human beings, because there is no separation. We're all one as human beings. But they, as the matrix system that has been created in our culture to wake us up, they have created this system where we have to get permission and pay for a license to do things that's our natural right to do, like drive a car and travel and get married and have children and work without getting permission from anybody to do what we do. We don't need permission to do things that are lawful. Yet, because we don't know who we are, we give that authority to somebody else, so that this system, this matrix, has been created for the express purpose, from my perspective as a spiritual being, to awaken us so that we can remember who we are. It's very important for all freedom and peace-loving people to understand the principles I'm talking about. This is not about law or government. It's not about politics. It's not even about religion. It's about the spiritual reality that most of us have forgotten who we are. And it is the divine Creator's intent that we remember and that we step into the fullness of our being. With all of our creative powers and gifts reawakened and brought forth so that we can create the kind of world together that we want instead of the one that we've been in. And that's what the UCC-1 is all about. It's a very difficult convoluted document. Why is it so? Because the system that we have created of bondage in this control code, commercial code world is convoluted. Nothing is what it appears to be. Nothing. Nothing. Everything is based on acquiescence and consent. And we give our consent to the system when we don't understand who we are and why the system is here. And that's what I hope to get across to you in the brief video this morning. Yes, the UCC-1 is complicated because the world we live in is complicated and convoluted, as I said. And we have forgotten who we are, and it is a means, it is a remedy to take back our power. There are thousands of people in the United States, and I'm sure around other parts of the world as well, that have done this. But it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not well accepted, as if you watched the video yesterday, the courts just have a tendency to want to ignore it because it brings to an end. If the more people that are aware of this, it brings to an end the system of control. Ultimately, it is the death knell for the system of control, because free people cannot be controlled. Free people cannot be hoodwinked into giving away their identity. I took my identity back. I stand in my personal sovereignty. The UCC-1 doesn't give me that. It's simply a remedy within the system that says to the system, I know who I am. Some people fill out a form. Not that there is a form, but there are people putting out forms for the UCC-1. There's a lot of unanswered questions in those. When I was trying to get answers from the people that were putting this information out, nobody wanted to give me answers because it's about knowing who you are. It's not something that somebody can give you. That way of learning is not learning. You're just following somebody else's orders, and somebody else's directions, and somebody else's rules. It has to come from you. It has to come from your heart. It has to come from the essence of what you are as a creative spirit having a human experience. It's meaningless if all you do is learn the how-to. You need to know the why-to. Why? Because you're a slave. We've all been slaves, and we're waking up now. And that awakening is part of the divine order of things. It is the evolution of consciousness. It's what the ninth wave is all about. And the UCC-1, again, is a document that allows you to become sovereign in the eyes of the state, even when the state doesn't want to acknowledge that that's the truth. It is, though, the truth. It is fact. It is common law. It is what the Declaration of Independence was all about. It is what the Magna Carta was about. It is what the Constitution of the United States was about, the original Constitution. It's what the Bill of Rights is about. These are the backbones of modern culture that have been pushed aside to awaken us. So I share these things with you this morning, and I know it's not what some of you want with your left brain, but I'm speaking to you from my heart to your heart, because it's important that that's where you get the information, that's the way that you get the information. So I'm going to leave you with that this morning. There will be future talks, probably on similar subjects. But for now, you have a wonderful day. Namaste. God bless you. Thank you.